Welcome back to From the Source podcast. This is episode 38, and today we're going to be going through a review of our Hyrox Birmingham race. So we did this, as of filming this episode now, we did this 2 weeks ago. We've had a week kind of off, recovering, and then now we're going to go through kind of the race itself, the weekend, and then how the race went for us and what we thought, what our afterthoughts are and thoughts for the future. So if we give a brief overview of Hyrox Birmingham, like the setup, what did you think to it? Because you've done obviously quite a few Hyrox races now, so you've got a lot to compare against.
I mean, that was probably the best setup of a race day that I've been to. I mean, when I first started, I think they were just so new to it that they didn't really know how to coordinate spectators and races and stuff. But that was the most organised it's probably been.
Like, it was a bit chaotic in the past.
Yeah,
it was a new race, new sport.
Yeah, it was less chaotic, even though it was chaotic when we were racing. But as a spectator, it was miles better. There was better ways to cross. There was more things to do. The actual hall itself was bigger. So all in all, yeah, it was a decent turn.
Yeah, the venue was good. It was at the NEC in Birmingham. The venue was good. Like, the crowds were like, the supporters and the people that were there to watch, the spectators were great. And yeah, like, everything was dead smooth, wasn't it? Like, places to eat, things to buy, things to browse, and then obviously all the different stations, you always were able to get a spot watching the person you came to watch, so it was good.
Probably a big test of their organisation now probably will be Manchester one, which they've obviously got two. When this podcast comes out, Manchester would have already been the first one.
But, yeah, because it's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, but Manchester's like a big, well, it's a small venue, but like probably the biggest in the UK, I think.
Yeah,
for people,
it's like a central hub.
Yeah, you did that one as well last year, and that was like, as a spectator, you could not move at all.
No,
it was horrible.
These things do get crowded, and they always say, like, on Facebook groups and Instagram and stuff, like, there's limited capacity, but I feel like eventually they just let everyone in, like, and if they're not strict on that, it's just so crowded. But as a spectator or as a competitor, you want to go and watch. We'd have been pissed off if we didn't get let in to go and watch on that Saturday.
Yeah.
So
and it must be hard for them, because if you're an athlete racing, your ticket allows you to go every day. So you're not even classed as a spectator. So if you go every day, then that's one extra person each day, and every athlete does that.
Yeah, and most people bring like one or two people with them.
Yeah,
to spectate. So it's like 3 people, but yeah, it was good. Birmingham was really good, and everything about it seemed to run really smoothly for us. Like, speaking in personal terms, we had a really good setup. We were in a hotel across the street. We managed to sleep well. We could, get the right food that we wanted. So we'll go day before we turned up. We were watching. It was good, and then kind of when we were thinking about, right, we need to start recovering now for tomorrow, like getting ready for the race, we went got Nando's, didn't we?
Yeah, protein.
So, like, Sam eats more than me in calories wise. So when we sat down at Nando's, he was like, I'm going to get like a half chicken or maybe a whole chicken. And then he was like, no, I'm going to get a whole chicken. And when you're with someone and you're like, all right, if they're going to get it, I'm going to get it then. So I was like, right, well, I'm going to get the whole chicken then. So we got a whole chicken each and 2 sides each. And we were starving, to be fair. We'd not eaten properly for hours.
Like, been on your feet and everything. Yeah.
Probably, I think I had something for lunch. It was like a ham and cheese panini. And then we didn't eat again till like 8 hours later or 9 hours later. So we were starving. Whole chicken comes. He smashed through his. And I gave you like a bit of mine, didn't I?
Yeah, a quarter of
the chicken. But that was so good, because that was like carbs, protein, and I mean, Nando's is always a good shout, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's never not been a good shout.
Yeah, it's clean, as clean can be for like that type of food. Obviously, like, not like Five Guys or
Yeah, because some people we knew went for Five Guys and we went for Nando's, and then Depends. Like if you want to eat before a race or the night before an event, you need something that's is going to sit in your stomach. And I've had Five Guys before, like once or twice, but I know that a greasy burger doesn't sit well in my stomach.
Yeah, a day before the race. But yeah, so once we had that Nando's, that set us up to pretty much just fall asleep.
Went home, went to bed, got a good night's sleep. We had the clocks go back,
Yeah.
so we got an extra hour than we would have had anyway. But we probably had like 9 to 10 hours sleep, I think, didn't we?
Absolutely wiped out. You've been on your feet all day watching people. So you do, if you've ever spectated before, you walk pretty much to every station that person you're watching was. But we did that. Loads of people from our gym was competing on different events, so we did that
Repetitively, didn't
It
we?
was 3 times. Was it 3 or 4 times we went round?
Yeah, like you start at the ski, you go all the way around,
Yeah.
and then we were like, right, back to the ski because they're going
Yeah.
again, and then it was that again. So
Yeah. So I think it was 3 or 4 times. So you're doing that and you're just absolutely knackered. Because once you cross over the track into the middle area, getting back across takes forever because there's so many people. So you don't want to go back across and like get something to eat, or that's where you can sit down. So you just end up walking and walking.
yeah, there actually is nowhere to sit apart from the like places to eat, which you can't really go and sit in there if you're not buying anything. You can, but you're not
Yeah,
supposed
but
to.
there's loads of people there waiting as well.
Yeah,
So.
but then the next day, obviously we woke up. We both had breakfast with us. Like I had some porridge, you had overnight oats, and then I missed something. Can I just say this? So bear in mind we've had a whole chicken each. We get back to the room, we're sharing a room, and I'm starving. Like I'm I'm so full. Like I'm absolutely like there's nothing else I can fit in my stomach whatsoever. And Sam just opens up a box of tuna pasta, a Tupperware of tuna pasta, and he's like, I need to get the carbs in.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, I'm literally gonna pop. So that just shows you that, like, the difference in
Just a fat bastard.
yeah, you're just greedy. But
Yeah.
anyway, it helped because it was enough to keep us full and like ready for the next day. Woke up, got some breakfast in, went down because we knew a few people that were racing, and we just wanted to kind of ease into the day. I think we watched 2 people, like
Yeah.
2 groups that
Yeah.
or 3, but we were like sat down a lot. We were just slow pace. We filmed the podcast on that morning as well, didn't we? And then, or was that the day before?
No, that was
the day of.
Boom.
And then basically we got ready for the race, and ours was 4 o'clock, which is a bit of a shit time because I think the best time to race would be mid-morning.
Yeah. 10, half 10.
Yeah, like you've had one meal and then you're ready. Whereas we had to have like breakfast, some snacks, lunch, some snacks, and then you're ready to race at 4 p.m. after a day on your feet again. So that probably didn't help us out, but we felt good going into it. We started to warm up at about 2:30. Like we started to lay down.
Yeah,
We
it's like stretching and stuff. Yeah, I've not really done a lot of that.
got changed, and then the warm up area. What was that like?
That was all right, actually. Yeah, it was quite a big one. You've got your own like toilets as well, which is helpful because you're getting all your fluids in. But yeah, the warm up area was decent. Apart from there was like that mini wall ball area.
Yeah, that
They
was
set up
crap.
like an area to practice your wall balls, but like the rig it must have been about 7 foot tall, so you literally like bopping the wall ball up. It was a bit pointless, but
It looked like your warball video where you just go like that.
yeah, it was a bit silly, but apart from that, it was all right. But obviously doing a men's doubles, it gets packed.
Yeah, it was crowded, and you could see, when you're in the warm up area at Hyrox, you can see people that are starting to get the nerves and the adrenaline pumping, and they're like, running up and down, but you can tell on their face they're a little bit nervous, or they're a little bit, maybe they're just excited. But it's interesting watching people, and you can hear all the heats going off, and we knew ours was coming up, so we felt warm, we felt ready. We had our gels. I think we had just a gel each in our pocket.
Yes.
We'd hydrated, but we'd gone to the toilet like 17 million times, which is what you do when you're competing. You just need to go to the toilet so much.
Pre-race nerves.
Yeah. And then it got to like our heat. So we were on at 4 o'clock. We were on the dot, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we just said, like, that was our first race together, but we were like talking to each other about it, saying like, let's not let adrenaline take over. let's stick to our splits. Let's just try and do what we can, get out the pack early, but get into a nice, good position. And we literally did. So they say off you go, like set off. And then we ran out. It was fast, wasn't it? We were running fast.
It was like, the first one was like 3:45 on my watch. Obviously, we said like get past the pack, but basically when they released us out of the slip road thing, tunnel if you will, we got out of our pack, and then we were stuck between
It was like another
our
big pack.
and the pack in front. So then you had to do another burst, and then you got where the spectators cross over, you get squeezed into a narrow channel. So we were kind of like racing like two packs to get out ahead, but then by the time we'd pretty much finished that, we were coming in for the ski. So the first
first split was really fast, but probably the first lap. So I think you did 3 laps at the start, didn't you?
Yeah.
The first lap we were running like proper fast. Like I looked at my watch and I shouted to Sam like, "This is fast," And but he was like, "We need to get out of the pack." So we did that, and then we just slowed down slightly, but it was still fast. Got to the ski, but I felt good. The only thing I felt, which I don't know if you got, was because we'd gone so fast, my adrenaline was so high, I felt really like good, but also like out of breath. Like when I got to the ski, I was like, I didn't think I'd be this out of breath, straight away. But I put it down to nerves, adrenaline, and obviously the fact we've just run like a 3:20 or something.
Yeah, I had like weird tingly legs when I was stood on the ski.
And I think you get to the ski and everyone's there, all your mates are there and they're like cheering you on. And you're just like, right, I need to control my heart rate because it's sky high.
But I think we were 3rd or 4th in our heat. I remember running down the ski thinking, fucking hell, we're running like
we were
a long way down.
We were like
here.
3rd or 4th.
Yeah. And then it kind of just turned into a bit of like a race, obviously, between those 3 people or 4 people in front of us.
Yeah, we finished the ski, we ran off, and we'd said to each other, like, in them rock zones, you need to keep the pace going hard. And then we agreed on that second, we already knew, like, let's run less than 4:20s, but let's aim for like a 4:10, 4:15 if we can. We got to this, we'd done the second run, we stuck to that. I think we did like 4:15 or something. And then on the sled, the next run, I think we just started to stick to 4:20s because it very quickly got like, I don't know if it was just the adrenaline or the fact that we'd done that first run really fast, but I struggled to recover like I normally can. We've always talked about in training, the best thing about Hyrox training is the ability to get your heart rate up because you're running fast, and then down because you're on the station. But I struggled to get my heart rate down.
To be fair, you said that, like the adrenaline, I felt like I was like fighting like inside my body.
Yeah, I felt like the exact same,
to the point where it wasn't I was going to like hyperventilate or panic or something, but whenever we've trained, we come in like hard from the sled into a run and then we rest. I pretty much like put my hands on my knees, like calm myself for a few seconds, stand up, a few heavy breaths, I'm all right.
Yeah, you've toned it down.
I was just like,
never came down.
It was just, it was really weird, to be fair.
I got it, and I don't know if it's when you're on a stage, like you're being watched. There's everyone else's mates and family watching you because, like if you're like the 5th person running down that rock zone towards the sled, everyone's there to see their mate, but there's no one else there, so they watch you.
Yeah.
And all our mates and family were watching us. But I felt exactly the same. The adrenaline was so high, and maybe nerves were so high that my heart rate was just so high. But I was like, it shouldn't be this high because I've not actually done anything that far. We've ran fast on that first run, but nothing major.
Your heart rate wasn't, when you look back at like your Garmin and stuff, my heart rate wasn't high until the end.
But you felt it.
But like, yeah, I could like feel it in my eyes. It was a weird thing because obviously you get on the sled, the push and the pull, and you get there at say the same time another group, and then you're further ahead of them, but then other people join the sled and they're quicker than you.
because that's their strength.
Yeah, and it's weird because you pushing it one way, and then you turn around and push it back. But then when you push it back, there's a guy just starting, but you think he's with you. So then you start pushing harder, but he's fresher, and it's weird. You end up just start
And that's
competing with
why
people that aren't in your race.
Yeah, and that's why people say at Hyrox or any race, run your own race, don't run anyone else's. But that's so easier said than done, because when you've got someone next to you, all you're doing is looking at them, thinking, right, I need to be not letting them go in front of me.
But you're pushing the sled, looking down at the plates, and then all you can see is a guy's feet next to you either side, and subconsciously you start like racing them anyway.
Yeah,
And it's not.
it's just human nature.
And you look up and that guy's massive, and you think, well, yeah, of course he's going to be beating me.
And he might even be in the heat before, do you know what I mean? But that's the thing at Hyrox, you don't know who for sure is in your heat. But after that first sled, we started to get the 420 splits, or just maybe a bit less, or maybe even a bit slower. And I think after the sled pull run, we didn't say it, but we were like, I was thinking this is actually tough. Like, I forgot how tough this is, because at the start I was like we just need to run 4-minute splits. Like, we're going to smash this 60-minute goal if we just run 4-minute splits and like just give it everything. But then when you're actually in the race, I mean, my legs were blowing up. I remember I said to you at one point, like, my legs had, done. This was towards the end, but I was like, my legs are done. Like, I can't run a 420k.
To quote him, actually, he turned to me in the rock zone and said, "My legs are fucking fucked." And I was like, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
So the thing, I think, reflecting on one of the things that was like, so when we kind of slotted into that 420 pace, and I think that just naturally happened. I felt like any more and I'd blow up.
Yeah.
Any less, well, I couldn't really go any less. I was like,
It was a nice pace for us.
My hips were like stuck in that 420 position, which was great and also bad. But the one thing that was like messing me up, because we trained running in front of each other. So you mainly ran in front of me, but you'd go through a gap, the gap would close. I'd have to run all the way to the edge to catch you
all the way through
every single time. And then basically, I don't know why, but near the end, I latched onto the idea of being like, when I'm running out, why am I trying to fight to get next to you? Why don't I just run on the outside?
Yeah. As long as we can see each other in our periphery vision.
But it was so.
That was what slowed us down the most.
This was I don't want to make an excuse about anything, because we'll get onto it later. But like, we're about 20 seconds a run slower than what we wanted to be.
Just 20 seconds faster, we would have hit the hour.
Yeah. But some of it was because of the fact of I was running to our speed, having to slow down, the door would kind of close, go all the way around, but you're going round like over people's legs to try and get round, elbowing people and then coming back. And that's what takes it out of you. That's what's killing me.
The hard thing about that is that was what really slowed us down. And that's something you can't really train for, because when you're training, running, you don't run with like 500 people around you, you just don't do that. So we were fast in our training. We were confident in our training. On the day, we were really confident. The adrenaline was pumping. Yeah, we were nervous and stuff, and it was hard, but we just couldn't get them gaps, and we couldn't, we actually ended up doing, I think Hyrox is an 8K race. You've obviously got the rock zones, but we ended up doing like 10 to 11K, because you're just running outside, inside, zigzagging all the way through.
It was 11.3K on my watch.
Yeah, so it's a lot more than you think, but it's not your fault. It's that you had to take them detours. And like Sam said, a lot of the time, I would cut through, but the gap would close, and I'd look behind me and Sam's not there. And I'm thinking, shit, like, where is he? But then I'd see him come in front of me, and he's just gone round the outside. But then,
to be fair, then I see Connor, and then I go round, and then I'm like, right, he's there. Everyone pretty much has got no top on. and then it's not you, and I've like sped up thinking that's you,
Yeah.
turned around and you're there, so then I slow down. Or a lot of the times what happens when you go around the corner, so there's obviously the white line, fast runners on the inside, which never happens, all the slow runners. Every time we'd go around the bend, there'd be like a guy pretty much like walking in the middle,
fast lane.
in the fast lane. You'd slow down, hit him or whatever, then start to go again. And it was just a lot of that.
That is the hard thing about Hyrox, because you've got people who are there to race hard, get a PB, you know, break a world record, but then you've also got people who are there competing, doing their first ever one. They don't know the rules, and it's not really their fault, but like when you get stuck behind someone, they're in the fast lane, but they shouldn't be there, but they don't know it's the fast lane. I think there should be signs, you know, at every part saying fast lane, because I think it's just a given that you should know.
I think they should do it how they do it in marathons, where you put down what your dream time is, and they put everyone who wants to do an hour in the same heat.
Yeah, so it's
so you know everyone who's on that track is not going to be a 2 hour or a 1:30 plus guy.
Yeah,
That potentially when they get tired, they all revert like to the inside lane and slow everyone down. I think that's what they should do. That'd make it so
yeah, it would
better.
definitely.
But
Yeah.
but then I speak to people and they say, well, why don't you do the pro then? You know, because that'll be like obviously pro for professional, but it's not, because you get people doing pro that can't get an open ticket, and the pros are at the
Yeah,
same
they've just
time
jumped up.
as
Yeah.
the men's open, so you still get trapped.
But that's why I think if you are doing a good Hyrox time, let's say you're a doubles, you're getting under an hour, or even an hour, like it shows that you actually are really good, because you've actually managed to do all that, get through all them people, get over them hurdles and stuff in the way, but still smashed your time, you know.
Yeah,
But we spoke to that guy. We went for a bagel on the Saturday, and we spoke to a guy, and he'd done the men's pros. He'd got like bang on the hour, but he wanted 59. He was like, I got 1 hour, like 0.00000. And he said he was fuming because he really wanted the 59, but he said he didn't get it because it was so busy.
and he was like one of the earlier times of that day, which, I mean, that would help if there's less people on the track. But I don't know, maybe next time you just say, I'm just going to run around the outside of the track. I'm not going.
Yeah, it might actually be
You turn it into a 1200 near enough and just run the outside, because no one's on the outside.
Because it's the longest route.
Yeah, but that's also why a lot of people go abroad and do a Hyrox, because it's not as big over there, and there's more track space and stuff like that.
I think for us, it was a good race and we enjoyed it. And I think when we got to the rowing machine, we knew that we weren't going to get an hour, because it was like, at that point, your legs are done in. And if you've not got your target time at that point, you're probably not going to do it. So we just kind of, again, we didn't really say it, but it was kind of a given that we're going to enjoy it now, but we're still going to give it some. But that pressure of getting an hour is now off us. And I think in theory, we got an hour and 6 minutes because we'd set ourselves the target of an hour and we knew we weren't going to reach it. Then it became like, all right, we're not going to reach it now. So, you know, let's not kill ourselves now. Because I think we could have run faster at the end. We could have got like an hour and 4 minutes or an hour and 3 minutes. But at the very end of it, it's like, do I really want to go like full on now? Or can I just try and at least, like get the best I can, but without killing myself?
Well, said before, you're balancing that, like, do I want to completely blow my body up and finish like 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 and hobble home with cramp, or get home still in a decent speed or a pace time? And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, we still gave it everything, and we didn't like not try.
But for me, when I was running around and I thought, I'm actually fighting against people running, and the space just isn't there. So we're going to have to shave off like a minute a run each time to get home in an hour. And physically, when they funnel you into that bit when people are, like the spectators are crossing, there is literally no room.
No.
Loads of men's doubles running side to side, and men are obviously pretty big, some of them. You just could not get past. You were just getting like shoved into the barriers, and the amount of close misses I had with people who were popping their head out on that middle bit where they were crossing. It was just
you're like brushing spectators' sides, aren't you?
It's just hard. It's just really hard to just get past people. It'd be a lot easier if you were getting past people who are running similar to you.
Yeah, if everyone, I think they probably want that to be the thing, but it's just hard to. It'll just be hard to, fit all them people into one category. But as it gets bigger, they'll learn from this. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely are going to do another one. We finished in 1 hour and 6 minutes, which was a time that we were like really happy with. We just weren't buzzing with it because we wanted the hour. But saying that, it's like an eye opener for us. We always set ourselves big targets, like in training, in life, like we want to aim high. So 1 hour was always going to be a tough challenge. If we had got 59, like honestly, you'd have been massively like proud of yourself. And in the back of our minds, part of us probably thought we can do it, and another part of us probably thought going to be tough. That some of the best athletes in the world are getting 1 hour.
Yeah.
But if you've said it, like you can make it happen. And we basically came back from it on the way home. We looked at all our splits. We were comparing them to friends' splits. We were comparing them to athletes that we know's splits. And if we just said, if we ran 20 seconds faster, we'd have done it.
Yeah.
Because
our rock zone time wasn't that long, and our positioning on all the exercises wasn't horrendous. We're like pretty quick on quite a lot of them. It was just the runs that slowed it down.
And it's things we've spoke about that we probably didn't do enough of was adding the rock zone run to the actual run. So if the run's okay, like 1 kilometer, but then your rock zone's like another 200 to 300 meters, you're actually running like, you've just done a run, you've run into the rock zone, you've run out of the rock zone, you've actually just run like nearly 1,600 meters. But in training, we probably trained like a 1K or an 800.
Yeah.
So it's actually double.
Yeah, it's just food for thought for next time, that's all.
But
training.
We'll definitely do another one because it is such a good event. And the reason why people get addicted to Hyrox is not because they just want to do that same race all the time. It's the feeling you get after you've done it. It's like you're just buzzing for days after, aren't you?
Yeah. And that classic, you tell people you do a Hyrox.
And you're telling everyone, I've done a Hyrox, and all your people at work are like, what are you on about?
Yeah, because it is like a tough challenge. Like, I do remember getting on that burpee, doing the burpees, and I was just down, up. I didn't know where the hell I was. I was just looking at the white lines. And then you look up and you think, fucking hell, we're only halfway.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. That was the stage that hit me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it hits you. You hit the wall, but you power through the wall.
Yeah, my lungs are burning. But you just try different things. Like you all seemed all right on the burpees, and then we finished, and I just followed your feet.
Yeah,
and I thought that's just what I'm going to do.
You're just in a mode of, I'm just got to run. Like everything in your body's saying, like you can't run. Go and get a drink of water and stuff. And I was like, remember we walked one bit. We walked for like 10 seconds from in the rock zone. I think it was after like the kettlebells or the lunges.
Yeah.
And we just walked it for 10 seconds and we were like, right, come on, let's just send it now. And then we just started running again. You just have to drag yourself to that run.
And you just send it on them wall balls.
And it, like you can see the finish line, you can see the ramp, and you're like, just 100 to go, and then I'm done.
And you just never get enough rest on them wall balls. Like you do your wall balls. Like we both ran in, you went first, and I was stood there waiting. And I think you did like 20 or 25, and it just did not feel like enough rest at all before I picked up that ball. And I did the same, and I was like, fucking, I'm swapping already.
And your legs are going, you can feel the cramp borderline. Like you got cramped, didn't you? He was
Oh,
punching his leg.
I
Like,
got cramp like coming into the wall ball in my hamstring. I thought I'm not gonna be able to squat. He's gonna have to do all of these. And then the cramp just kind of went, and then I was last on the wall balls, and she said like 20 left, and I thought, fuck it.
you'll have to do
I
it.
was
Yeah.
just like, I'm not dropping it now.
In my head, I'm glad you said that because in my head, I was like, I'm not doing another wall ball. End of. Like, I'm not doing another wall ball.
And then I just dropped the ball and just like set off for the finish line. I was like, fucking hell, I want this over with.
Yeah, but it was class, and like it's such a good event. And if you've not done one and you're listening to this, you need to do one because probably what we're saying is not. It's either inspiring you to do one or it's just not resonating, and it's because you need to be there. You need to feel like that event feeling.
Yeah, the atmosphere is quality.
Yeah,
And you get loads of people come to watch you. It's great. Like when you're lunging, people are like right next to your wall balls, next to your farmers carry the lot.
and that feeling when you finish, you're so buzzing. Like we didn't even hit our target, and we were still buzzing. And you're in the car on the way home, you're buzzing. You wake up the next day, you're like, yeah, I did a Hyrox. Like I feel amazing. I want to book another one. Loads of people we know have then booked onto the Manchester one because some people obviously sell the tickets.
Yeah.
But no, it was good, and I think that was our first one together. And I would be very optimistic now to say that our next one, we would just probably not say anything about a target, but we'd absolutely send it. Like, we'd smash it. Do you not think?
Yeah, I think we're like tweaking the training and better training
Yeah.
in some respects. And then,
Like, I'm quite inspired now to, like, not do anything for just to chill and just I'm quite inspired now just to not do anything other than like train and run for Hyrox, and then towards next year, like, you know, not a year away, but in like 6 months' time, look at getting a race in and being like, we went away, we worked on the weaknesses, and then we came back and we just blew everyone out of the water.
yeah, I'd want to, for the next however many months, just train that like speed work for me anyway.
Yeah, literally.
That
Track
top end like
sessions.
800, 600 plus speed work, like get fast, like
Yeah.
we said it on the way home, like be able to run a K faster than I ever will be able to run one.
Yeah, like running a
high
K at
levels.
like 3:30
Yeah,
means that when you go to run the Ks at 4 minutes, that feels like your nice, you know, run.
yeah.
Whereas I did feel that them 420s were tough. And it was just because your legs are so done in. It's compromised running, but we'll go through that on another podcast
Yeah.
episode.
But yeah, my legs were absolutely cooked. I didn't have the words to tell
No.
anyone that my legs were done.
Yeah, it was just
I was just hoping my face would just tell everyone that I am fucking
Yeah.
finished with this.
But no, it was good. So thanks for listening. And if you've not yet done a Hyrox, then make sure you sign up to one, just because the stuff we're talking about, the feelings you get after it, it's, you know, you can't really explain it. I think you get it from a lot of stuff. Races, marathons, events, CrossFit things, gym competitions, but you do get a really good feeling from a Hyrox. So try and get one in. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you on the next one.